The Packers come up with a big win, a convincing win at home over Miami on Thanksgiving. Now that we've had a chance to digest some food, digest the game, take a look at the box score, there's a lot of good news that comes out of this convincing victory over Miami. I'm going to break that down for you guys in this video. If you haven't subscribed yet, please take a second to do so. Also, leave your comments and let me know, is there a worse mismanaged game in NFL history than what you saw against that Detroit-Chicago game? I was super pissed. I wanted the Bears to help out Detroit, but they're completely unable to do so. Is there another ending that tops the stupidity to that ending? I can't think of one. That to me was by far the worst ending. I don't know who to blame, Eberflus or Caleb Williams. There was 32 seconds left when Eberflus could have called a timeout. There was 15 seconds left when everybody was set, ready to go. Caleb Williams just sat there in the pocket. I don't know what he was doing. He just kept going like this. And then all of a sudden, they snap the ball with 4 seconds left, and he just heaves it downfield. The absolute worst ending to a game I have ever seen. And the result of that, I'm not sure you guys saw all of this. Sources say Bears fire Eberflus after their 6th straight loss, and it comes to no surprise whatsoever. This team is absolutely just unraveling and imploding right before our eyes. And here's what Eberflus had to say. He said to me, I think we handled it the right way, the ending to the game. I do believe that we were just going to just replay that same play that we were going to run when Caleb Williams got sacked, get it out of bounds, call a timeout. That's why we held it, and it didn't work the way we wanted it to. First off, you contradict yourself there. You say you were going to run that same play before Caleb Williams got sacked and then run it out of bounds, but then call a timeout. If you're out of bounds, you don't need to call a timeout. I'm not sure what this guy is thinking or doing, but that is absolutely hilarious and not the Packers' problem. What an awful ending to the game. So when you start talking about the Packers and what the Packers needed to work on after the bye week, and a lot of things come to mind. Penalties was one of those things that the Packers absolutely needed to work on improving and getting better, and not shooting themselves in the foot. And if you notice, since the bye week, we played Chicago, we played the Niners, we played Miami, and the Packers have won that penalty category each week. And they do it again against Miami. Let's take a look here. The penalty category for the Packers, they get 7 penalties for 44 yards. The Miami Dolphins have 10 penalties in this contest. Again, the Packers winning that category. And I bring this up, and yes, 7 penalties is a little bit too much for my comfort, but the Packers nonetheless keep winning this category that they needed to improve on. And after the bye week, they absolutely do that. Another category that the Packers needed to improve on was Jordan Love protecting the ball. Okay, so here are Jordan Love's stats after the bye week. He played the Bears. He threw for 261 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, a passer rating of 113. Okay, so we did have that 1 interception, and if you remember, he threw it over Kraft's hands, and it was near the end zone. I think the Bears picked it off at the 2-yard line. Then they played the Niners. Jordan Love doesn't need to do a whole lot with his arm, and Christian Watson had that dropped 50-yard pass. Josh Jacobs getting it done, but 163 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Okay, that was his first game not throwing a pick all season. And then you have the Miami game, 274 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, a passer rating of 129. So his passer rating, his average passer rating after the bye week is averaging 116. He's thrown for 5 touchdowns, 1 interception, kind of sounding reminiscent of what we saw and heard last season out of the Packers and Jordan Love, and the way that he turned at the corner the second half of the season. I'm going to say that Jordan Love's injuries played a lot into his decision making and a lot of the interceptions and turnovers for Jordan Love. So he's also thrown for 700 yards in the 3 games as well. So the Packers doing a lot of good things. And another thing that the Packers wanted to improve on after the bye week was their red zone efficiency. The Packers were getting to the red zone. They just weren't turning it into touchdowns. And that's exactly what the Packers do again against Miami. And they're using Jordan Love as well as Josh Jacobs to get that done. And takeaways, that's another category that the Packers were dominating the first half of the season, and then all of a sudden they just started, losing that category week after week. But if you take a look at what they've done ever since the bye week against Chicago, against San Francisco, and now against Miami, they do it again. You can see right here in the takeaway category, the Packers win that one 1-0. They've been averaging just over 2, I think 2.2 a game. They get one takeaway, and it was Washington's botched punt return that the Packers jump on. They get that one. But if you remember, they could have potentially had almost another one. Janu Smith, they forced a fumble from that guy, but the ball goes out of bounds. But the Packers, great at punching the ball. Jeff Hafley really reiterating. Other great news coming out of this victory is that the Packers again needed to work on, after the bye week, creating pressure on the opposing quarterback. And that's exactly what they do. They trade away Preston Smith, and the outcome has been great. Let's take a look at some stats here defensively for the Packers. Isaiah McDuffie, the dude potentially wasn't going to play with that ankle injury, and I am so grateful that he did. He looked absolutely fantastic. It seems like each week we are getting one guy stepping up, maybe somebody new, or maybe complimenting another person. Quay Walker has another good performance. Wasn't quite as good as that San Francisco performance, but another good performance. He has 2 tackles for loss. He has a sack, 10 tackles, 6 solo. McDuffie had 7 solo tackles in that one, but created a lot of pressure in this game. Kingsley Enagbare seemed to be in the backfield quite a bit, having a sack, a tackle for a loss. Also, you take a look at our other end, Lucas Van Ness created a lot of disruption in the backfield, which is great news for Packer fans. He has 2 tackles for loss and a sack. And then you've got Brenton Cox Jr. getting involved again. He has a sack in this one. And then Kenny Clark getting involved. He got in the backfield, creating some disruption. I think this was his best game, hands down, all season for Kenny Clark. He had a sack in this game as well. The Packers defensively looked absolutely brilliant. They looked really good. What were they able to do? Well, let's look at Tua's stats. He did throw a bunch, right? He threw 46 times, 37 to 46. He had a passer rating of 114, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. The middle of the field, if I had to knock the Packers defense, it was the middle of the field was wide open all game long. That was super disappointing. But you take a look at the Miami's rushing, right? You got Mostert, 5 carries, 19 yards. Achane, 7 carries, 14 yards. They weren't able to do anything on the ground. Josh Jacobs, 19 carries, 43 yards and a touchdown, but he did it through the air as well. 4 receptions for 74 yards. Tucker Kraft everywhere. That dude is beast. That guy is getting better every week. 6 receptions for 78 yards. I really, really like Tucker Kraft. And then Christian Watson kind of redeems himself after that bad performance against San Francisco. 2 receptions for 67 yards. He was thrown 4 times, but I thought Christian Watson had a very nice game, and he could be such a threat if the Packers can keep playing off of that. Dontavian Wicks, he caught some easy catches. Dontavian Wicks is one of those guys that is just like, maybe we need to think about playing him less or throwing to him less and getting other guys involved. So that is my take on that. So let's take a look. Jordan Love, like I talked about, man, what a performance by this guy. I have every bit of confidence in Jordan Love. I think this dude is absolutely legit. I think the Packers hit the lottery when it comes to quarterbacks and what they are able to do there with Tom Clements and company. But you look at you've got Brett Favre, you've got Aaron Rodgers, and now Jordan Love. I think Jordan Love is going to be a special quarterback in this league. And I think he's kind of showcasing that. And I think he's going to continue that. What a big game for the Packers coming up next Thursday against Detroit. It's not going to be that 10-day rest that I was hoping for, and I'm sure the Packers were hoping for. It's only going to be a 7-day rest for the Packers and the Lions because they played yesterday as well. But I think the Packers have got a really nice shot at just moving one step closer to winning this division. Leave your comments, and as always, go Pack, go.